It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and we've got to finals time sort of in North Central netball. It's tough at the moment. We're going to get to the decisions that have been made by North Central shortly regarding their final series. But first, we need to have a look back to last weekend's round of matches, the final minor round of matches, and Susan Lockhart joins us from North Central Netball. How are you, Susan?
Jason, I'm good, thank you. Going well on a Friday?
Yes, Friday without any netball, and we'll explain why a little bit later on. Look, it's tough for you guys at the moment, and we'll get to that later on. What we need to do first, though, is have a look back to last weekend, and last weekend's round of matches finalised the ladders in all of the grades at least, and there was some very interesting results in the A grade competition.
Well, there were some interesting results because the ladder changed last week due to the last game and games being missed previously due to the COVID lockdown. So, Big week.
Yeah, it was. And the big losers of the weekend, unfortunately for them, were Birchip Watcham. They dropped out of the finals race in the A grade. They went down to your Wedderburn girls 59-32. They're terribly unlucky to not be playing finals. Let's be brutally honest here, but it is the situation that it is. It's no one's fault. It's the way that COVID has worked the season, I guess.
It is, and that's true. And, I spoke to their president, Kylie Walsh, after the game on Saturday, and she accepted it is what it is, and we've just got to keep sticking together through this. There's no point in blaming anybody for what's happened and missing out. We all knew when we went into the start of the season that every game was important to win regardless because anything could happen, and it was good to speak to Kylie and just hear her say that from a good sports person's point of view.
Yeah, exactly. And they to accept that situation with the grace that they have, they'll be back. They're a very, very strong club. So, and their courts look fantastic too. Can I just say, buttering them up a little bit, but love their purple courts. So,
for sure, I got some terrific photos there on Saturday while I was there. It was the first time I'd been there. We played there, so the girls got their team photos on the courts. It's really flash. It looks so good. It's pretty bright too.
Excellent. But the big winners of the weekend, due to the situation, were Donald, who had I tell you what, Sea Lake Nandaly did all they could to help Birchip Watcham, but in the end, Donald did what they had to do. They had a great 5-goal win in the closest match of the round to beat Sea Lake and stamp their finals berth.
Yeah, they did, and they went really well, didn't they? And I knew that Sea Lake would be out there because they're a very good team. They're very strong down forward with Estella in goals. Estella Finch is their goal shooter. Well, that's where she's been playing this year. She used to be a keeper, but they've put her up forward, and she's really making a strong difference. But Donald obviously held her at bay to only 38 goals. So good game. 5 goals is nothing, and it could have gone either way, and Donald may not. And I have, Donald feeling fairly confident now coming into the finals and think that they probably could just knock off any of those teams above them.
Well, why not? They're playing with house money at the moment, and it's no fault of theirs that they're playing finals. They did all that they needed to do, so hats off to them. And they've got nothing to lose come finals time, so we'll see how they go. The other 2 matches from last weekend pretty much followed the script. Charlton absolutely thrashed St Arnaud, keeping them to just 11 goals. Wow, and scoring 78 themselves. That's a huge win.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sign that Charlton are really going pretty well, actually. So coming into finals, they'll be thrilled with that win. They've probably had their team pretty well sorted for what they're going to take the court with come the first semi-final when they take on Donald. So that should be a brilliant game when that happens.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And Bort, of course, they did what they needed to do as well. They just finished the season with a solid 30-goal win over Witcher-proof Narraport. Beat them 67-37. Witcher-proof pretty competitive, but just can't stop the opposition from scoring. They score pretty well themselves, but they just can't stop it down the other end of the court.
Yeah, true. And I really think that Witchy-proof, when they reflect on their season, they won't be disappointed with how they've played each week. Regardless of the ladder, every week they've scored high-scoring games and they've played a great game. So, they can only build on that if they're happy to stick together and get those girls back again next year and just get a couple of extra players. They'll be a force again.
They will be indeed. Now, let's have a look forward. So, all right, decision time it was through the week. Bearing in mind we've got a lockdown situation in Melbourne at the moment. Lots of players come out of Melbourne into your competition. So it would have been a tough week, I'd imagine, for decision makers. You would have had to get in with the Football League, work out what they're doing as well. Football and netball are indelibly linked. And what decisions have you guys come up with?
Yeah, well, thankfully the decision was made prior to these couple of last week. So the football board had a meeting, it was well over a week ago, like before the last round anyway, and they made a decision that they were prepared to give the Melbourne footballers 2 weeks to come out of lockdown. And Daniel Andrews has now made that announcement earlier last week that the lockdown was going to go right up until the 2nd of September, which puts our finals starting back to 4th and 5th of September, which the first semi will be played at Sea Lake on the Sunday, and the second semi will be played at Donald on the Saturday. So we're happy to go with that. We've stuck together the North Central football, netball and hockey. We're not together as joined together, but we're sort of at the hip anyway. We're a family and we stick together, and the hockey executive and the netball executive have spoken together and we're happy to stick with the footy and go with that to keep the family unity happening.
Yeah, and it's tough because I don't think I imagine it wouldn't affect hockey anywhere near as much as it does football. And whilst it would have some impact, I'm sure, on the netball side of things, probably not as much as the football clubs as well. Is that fair to say?
Well, to be honest, I don't know of any netballers that are coming out of Melbourne, but there are hockey players. So that's
right.
interesting.
Well, the other way around then, yeah.
Yeah. So not quite right. And, the decision, making the decision isn't easy, and it's not taken lightly. Like the people that have been placed in these positions to do it, they've thought about it for a long time. We've had a few clubs that have wanted us and been keen to move forward as a netball group, I guess, or a football, junior football and hockey, and go ahead without the senior football. But the logistics of it is just, it's not impossible, but it makes things very difficult. And you've got to work out who's going to host the finals. Do the volunteers then have to front up for 2 weeks to host when the senior football get going again? Do they have to host again? Who runs the canteens, the gates? Do they all have to do it twice? It sounds okay, but it just puts a lot of pressure on, and it puts pressure on making decisions as well. We're probably happy if everyone could just sit tight and know that people are still thinking about it. The people that have been placed in these positions are not just blasé with their thoughts.
Absolutely. It's tough for all decision makers at the moment. You just stay respectful through it all and understand that everyone that's working behind the scenes is doing the best they can in really tough times. That's the most important thing for everyone to understand. And I hope you're looking after yourself as well, Susan. We'll leave it there for today. Obviously, we've got a couple of weeks to have a look at how the ladder's finished and where things are at. We'll do that in the next couple of weeks in the lead up to finals. For now, though, we'll leave it there. We're wishing you all the best. I know it's going to be another hard week on the phones for you guys, but wishing you all the best, and hopefully we get a good result towards the end of the season.
Yeah, legend. Thank you very much, Jason. Thanks so much.